Tom, and I fired Paul. I got a younger model.
Hey!
Right, so not Paul. Who are you?
Will.
Right, this is William. This is Ickle Tom.
Me.
And we are going to do Summerslam predictions.
Hey!
I swear, because we haven't put anything up in a while.
Yeah, because you're all lazy and inconsistent.
We are consistent. About as consistent as a jelly on a roundabout.
Not very consistent.
Right, anyway, SummerSlam.
What's the match?
The matches. Shall we do them in
Blank screen order.
Shall we do them in reverse order of brilliance or reverse order of tedium? So in other words, we either get gradually better through the matches or gradually crappier through the matches.
I mean, they're all basically quite crappy anyway, so let's just start from
There's two on the card that could be quite good, I think.
Yeah.
But the first match at Survivor Series, I'm calling it Survivor Series for some stupid reason, don't know why.
Because
but
that might be a good pick.
First match at SummerSlam that I think is completely utter clusterfucky bollocks is the whole Divas tag team thing.
Oh my god! Why would they do that?
Which is Team Bella versus Post-Pre-Med
Bad
versus Team Bad versus Team Post-Mental Stress Disorder or whatever they're called. They've had two names in 2 weeks on Raw. And put it this way, Submission Sorority or Team PCB makes them sound like some sort of, I don't know, some sort of pill for, well, time of the month. But who do we reckon winning there? Apparently it's first pin off submission elimination style, one pin on each team eliminates each team. It's all very confusing, clusterfucky. So we're just going to throw a muck at the wall and see which team comes out.
I'm just going to get bored of it anyway, so I'm just going to say the Bellas because they'll probably cheat.
Now, I'm going to say it comes down to the Bellas and Team Bad, and Sasha Banks pins Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
To lead to, down the road, maybe combining the belts. That's the only logical thing I can see coming out of that pile of poo.
Because WWE is seeming to put every single belt together, so they might as well put the Divas as well. So.
Yeah, and maybe we can get rid of that horrible Bratz belt that's been far too ugly for far too long.
Exactly.
Right, next clusterfucky piece of tag team rubbish is the Fatal Fourway for the tag team titles.
Oh.
New Day,
Primetime
players, and the two pairs of masked gimps.
Exactly.
So we know the pairs of masked gimps aren't gonna win. So it's between the New Day and the Primetime players. Primetime players have been alright as tag team champions. New Day got some good heat going in. I'm gonna go New Day.
Yeah, I would say New Day as well. You just know that they're gonna win somehow.
Main reason I say New Day is the Usos will be back soon.
Exactly, and they're just gonna beat the shit out of everyone, so it's fine.
Yeah, so we're going with the New Day because the Usos will be returning soon, and that's to set them up maybe down the road, maybe Survivor Series for the tag team titles. Easy. Even though that's a way off, but that's one thing to look at. Next we've got Bad News Barrett or King Barrett or Wade Barrett or Decorum, we'll just call him Barrett. And Stardust versus Neville and that guy from Arrow. We all know Arrow and Neville are going over. I just hope Barrett gets to at least bullhammer him once.
Exactly. I want to see how good he takes something and if he doesn't break his jaw.
Put it this way, props to him if he takes some decent bumps in the match. What we saw on Raw was quite good from him, but we don't know how much input everybody else had into that. Barrett's a solid worker, Stardust's a solid worker, Neville, just brilliant.
There's just no way to describe how good he is.
So, pretty much, he's in there with solid workers. The match could be a solid match, but it's not going to be the best on the card.
I don't think Neville's going to take the heat. I think there's going to be a bit of...
The heat will be on...
provoking between Stardust and Arrow. Or whatever they call it.
Arrow, I can see the actor spending most of the time on the apron.
Punching the shit out of everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean Stardust.
So we're going for Arrow and Neville. And then we move on to, in my opinion, what is the most boring match of the night, which we're assuming it's going to happen because they've been kicking the crap out of each other on Raw. Shamus and Randy Orton. Do we really need to see this again?
We've seen it once. it was okay. But
I'm going to quote the night after Mania from a few years ago, where they were chanting for the fecking ring announcer during the match.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't make a good match together.
People are bored of Orton, they're bored of Shamus.
And his hairstyle.
The heel run for Shamus, at least he's getting some sort of heat, but you look stupid isn't exactly the best sort of heat.
Exactly.
Keep Shamus strong, have Shamus go over.
And one day cash in. I don't know if he's going to go long term or short term. I
may have a theory later on. Right, then we move on to the triple threat for the Intercontinental title. Ryback's just come back, he's keeping the belt.
Oh my god. None of them in that match deserve that title and deserve to be there. It's so annoying.
Big Show served his time. Maybe a last belt run for Big Show, but not at this point. I think the plan initially was for a Battleground to have Ryback retain pinning The Miz, is what I can see happening. Leading to one-on-one Ryback versus the Big Show down the road. Big Show looking into a last retirement belt run.
He's been Intercontinental Champion before, not that long ago.
Yeah, but that's how I see it being. Bit of an intriguing one here, which could potentially be one of the matches of the night as well. Ambrose and Reigns versus the Wyatt family.
And it might be the end that actually makes it one of the matches of the night.
We reckon probably a heel turn somewhere on the face team here.
Exactly.
Wyatt's going over, but who a heel turn? I think we disagree on this. Who are you saying, William?
I don't know. Dean Ambrose would be really good heel. Like, his gimmick, just him. He's always been a good heel. Reigns, on the other hand, I think is going to be a heel because he's had compared to Dean Ambrose, I would say Roman Reigns just looks more like a heel. He seems to fit the heel character. If he changes the way he looks, maybe his attire, obviously, maybe the way he acts, obviously you have to do that. I mean, you don't have to change much with Roman Reigns because he's a powerhouse. You can't change that. So that's why I think Roman Reigns will be have a heel turn if I had to pick between them because he just fits. He just fits out of the two of them at this moment in time for me. It might change over the time, but that's my opinion.
I disagree. Because, put it this way, the fans may end up flipping a switch on the WWE and making it that way in the long run, but the guy to turn for me is Ambrose. Because the best time to turn somebody is when they're at their hottest, and he's one of the hottest faces in the company at the moment. At the moment, the hottest baby faces in the company are Dean Ambrose and Ceasaro.
Exactly, because they're absolutely amazing.
So, we can't decide between us who's going to heel turn, but we reckon the Wyatts are going to win.
Yeah.
Then we move on to what is going to be, by a long way, match of the night.
Owens.
Kevin Owens and Ceasaro.
The spots that are going to be in that, there's no way of saying what they're going to pull.
We know the match is going to be brilliant, and it's a simple case if a loss won't hurt either of them.
Because it'll be.
But if either of them needs it, for me, it's Ceasaro. You got to bear in mind, because that way, if you have Ceasaro go over in a hard-fought match, Owens can play on the fact that he wrestled a ladder match the previous night.
Exactly.
So sensible booking says Ceasaro goes over.
Still going to be an amazing match, so I don't really care.
To me, this match should be old school #1 contenders match. Because put it this way, these are two guys who, everybody wants them in the main event scene. Then we move on to we could call it co-main event, but they're calling the whole rematch the main event. So we'll go next with the title versus title match. Cena versus Rollins.
I don't think either of them are going to keep the titles.
There's two outcomes to this. Either they both retain in some sort of disqualification clusterfuck piece of crap involving maybe the return of Kane, or Cena wins, Shamus cashes in.
Now,
they are the two outcomes they should go with that. That is it. There is no way they should get rid of the US title after building it up so high.
Exactly. Like, they shouldn't have put it together in the first place, because United States title was good. It was something that the people that aren't really going to go into the main event, even Neville, like, he can be in that main event, but to put the United States title on him would be massive. Like, he needs that. But now we're putting it together, what is the point? In about a year, it's going to be WWE World Heavyweight Intercontinental United States title. That's how it's going to go.
But let's say it's either going to be some sort of smalls finish where it's DQ and everybody keeps the belts, or it's going to be Cena wins, cash in.
Exactly.
Then we're going to move on to what we might. Something I think one guy I'm surprised hasn't been announced yet for this show is Rusev, but this feud with Ziggler has been a bit
boring,
flat. I reckon there's probably going to be some sort of in-ring segment with Rusev, the return of Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
Set up a match for next month's pay-per-view. Then that leads us to the most obvious call of the night, the Beast versus the Phenom. Brock and Taker. Taker's going over, we all know it's going to happen, oh dear how sad, too late, F5. Taker's going to go home for 6 months after beating Brock, and then his last match will be at Mania, either the rubber match against Brock or against Sting. He has one Mania left in him in my book, he's looking bloody old.
He's always looked old, like...
Put it this way, he claimed to be the dead man before, he looks like he's been dead for 6 months now.
That more than 6 months. Like, when he got that concussion, he looked dead. He was... What did I just do? 22 and all? No, he's 21 and all. No. It's just...
Right, so, there's all that. Put it this way, 4 hours worth of SummerSlam, we know there's going to be a load more polyfiller in there than what the matches we've already had announced and mentioned. Bear in mind this is a week before the actual event, and we know what it's like for narrow-minded booking and throwing stuff on cards last minutes these days. So, yeah, the other, leading out of SummerSlam, there's a lot of directions that could go. It is a simple case of I'm not going to try and follow Vince's thinking, but as far as I'm concerned, the best show that's going to be on over SummerSlam weekend is on the Saturday night, which is the NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn, which should be very good. And then you have a 4-hour SummerSlam with with what they're calling the rematch of the decade or whatever. But what you actually want to see is Owens and Ceasaro on that stage.
Forget what I was.
Because I thought the one bad thing about Battleground is that Ceasaro was not on that card. I've always been a fan of Ceasaro, as previous people watching this probably know. So, yeah, that's our SummerSlam predictions. If you agree, well and good, give us a like. If you disagree, leave your comments below. We'll probably not read them and just get somebody else to like the video instead, but yeah, go ahead.
It's a good idea.
Usual Twitter handle for the thing, it's down there somewhere. He has his own channel, what is it?
Click my face. Tornado Rouge Gamer. TRNG Plays, all in capitals.
There'll be a link to that down there somewhere. If not, it's in there's a couple of videos in the favourites, you might find it, you'll probably find it there as well. Look out for the travel programme we did, also my stand-up, I've got some more of that coming in September.
Yeah.
You got anything coming up?
A lot of videos. I upload daily, check me out. Got my Minecraft. Oh, I know a lot of you guys.
Yeah, more in-game stuff. In-game stuff and everything like that. I mean, Paul's been on about doing Let's Plays for ages, he does them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and apart from that, I think we might get some of your training matches as well and get them put up onto your channel.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully I get the footage.
So more pro wrestling coming on his channel. Hopefully more pro wrestling coming here as well. And if you see a rooster that's escaped from the Portsmouth area, please return it to Mr. A-Dodd. He has been looking for it. He's been looking for a replacement for a purple invisible seagull. So that's been our SummerSlam predictions and a little bit of toilet waffle about what's coming up on the channels. So we'll see you next time here at R Squared Studios.
Bye!